We now recognize gentleman, Mr. Garcia, for 5 minutes for his questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to our witnesses that are here today. And I obviously am hearing a lot of conversation that we hear over and over again at these many border hearings, not just here, but in Homeland Security. I want to remind everyone that just this week we saw the Republican Party nominate an insurrectionist, an indicted criminal, and a grifter who has accepted millions of dollars from foreign governments as their nominee for president, and that nomination rolls on. Now, as an immigrant myself, what's been the most offensive to me about Donald Trump is his disgusting rhetoric about immigrants. The man who entered politics by calling Mexicans rapists and trying to ban Muslims from entering this country is still spreading hatred today. Donald Trump has said that immigrants, and I quote, are poisoning the blood of our country, end quote. And I think it's important to remind ourselves of how horrific those words are. Now, this kind of rhetoric we hear all the time from Donald Trump, which we know also relates to something that Hitler once said. And our extremists here in Congress continue to parrot Donald Trump and his attacks on migrants and immigrants. We all want an orderly and safe border, but the idea here that we can have a serious conversation about the border is insane. Now, Mr. Beer, it's good to see you again, and I want to thank you for your testimony. And if you don't mind, I'd like to get your thoughts on some potential border solutions that we've actually heard a few times. Here I have a poster, and if you see it, it's got these alligators on a moat, and they're at the border, and this one's got a little hat. Do you think it'd be a good idea to build a water-filled trench filled with alligators along the border?
That would be a misuse of taxpayer dollars and extremely inhumane.
So you think it would be inhumane to build a moat, put alligators in them along the border? That would not be a good idea.
No.
What if we instead ordered soldiers to shoot migrants in the legs and stop them from coming to the U.S.? Would that be a good idea?
No, that would be attempted murder.
What about the wall that Trump, of course, was building? Would it be better instead if we electrified it and put spikes at the top of the wall?
That would dramatically increase the cost that Border Patrol would incur. We've already seen how Border Patrol's wall has caused so many more injuries. They have taken millions of dollars to care for the people who've suffered injuries falling from that wall.
And Mr. Beer, what if instead we launched military strikes against targets in northern Mexico? Would that make the border, you think, more or less secure?
It would make it less secure. Creating a crisis in Mexico would probably be the best thing you could do to increase illegal immigration.
I only ask you all these questions because these are all proposals by the Republican frontrunner for the nomination, Donald Trump, former President Donald Trump. Every single one of these ideas, alligator moats, missiles into Mexico, shooting migrants in the legs, putting spikes on top of the wall. These are all the ideas on how to make our border system and our immigration system more fair, according to Donald Trump. So obviously Donald Trump has no idea what he's talking about, and it's over and over we're seeing these horrific ideas. Now, Mr. Beer, do you think it's even possible to secure the border through force or deterrence alone, as some of my colleagues are suggesting?
No, absolutely not. We've had an experiment with this for the last 50 years. We've had very high levels of illegal immigration, punctuated by periods of job depression in the United States. Economic downturns do help secure the border. They talked about the most secure border in 45 years. April 2020 is not a good sample size. That's not a great way to secure the border, destroying the U.S. economy.
That's exactly right, Mr. Beer. And a lot of people want to come to the U.S. through legal pathways. I'm an immigrant myself. I came here as a young child, became a citizen in my early 20s. It's hard to become a U.S. citizen. But this is one of my favorite graphs here. This actually shows you our current immigration system, what the current legal pathway system looks like. Does this seem like an easy immigration system we have for someone to actually navigate through?
No, less than 3% of people who attempt that process get through it every year.
So this system, you would say, just looking at it, looks rather complex, is probably not easy to navigate for someone seeking a legal asylum or a process here. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Everybody, almost everyone needs an attorney in order to navigate this type of process.
And I will tell you that as someone that tried to navigate this system back here, being cheated on by numerous attorneys, cheated my family, stole money, woke up at 4 in the morning to get in lines that we were never seen at different offices. We haven't had comprehensive immigration reform in this country in 30 plus years. It's been a failure of this Congress, and if the Republicans really wanted solutions, would actually work on fixing this system here versus the attacks on immigrants and Donald Trump's insane ideas. With that, I yield back. Thank you.